how do you compare All In to WrestleMania 1?
Right. I think, so in terms of significance, I think it remains to be seen what All In is actually going to do for the independent scene and see if they can actually compete against WWE. I came away from this seeing that this is an alternative. That was one of the main goals that they wanted to present, that there is an alternative professional wrestling to what WWE is going to present to you. They exceeded all expectations on that front. The other thing that I would say is this. Did it feel like it was a special moment? Did it feel like it was a movement? Absolutely. Is there going to be an All-In 2? Maybe. It's something that they kind of hinted at after the show. Are these guys going to stick together? Yes. As far as that would be my assumption based on what they were saying after the show. But in terms of comparing it to WrestleMania, WrestleMania 1, again, keeping things in context, WrestleMania 1 sold 20,000. There's 20,000.
Just short of 20,000.
Around that, right? This is roughly half. It's important to keep things in context. Now, what this will mean for the wrestling business and for the independent scene going forward, I don't know if we can accurately make a determination on that yet. It remains to be seen. I think that it can be the first step towards legitimate competition towards WWE in a very, very long time. WrestleMania, looking back on it in hindsight, yes, obviously now they sell upwards of 120,000 tickets, and they have a whole weekend dedicated to WrestleMania where it's Hall of Fame. But that's also how many years in the making. So
35.
I think that All In, it depends on if those guys do end up going to the WWE. If they stick together and they put on more shows and then eventually, they prove that they can successfully create a legitimate company or brand to compete against the WWE, then we can have the conversation, okay, well, the significance of All In. But at the end of the day, this was a very good pay-per-view. I think people really received it well, and it was an important part of wrestling history, I think, that will be viewed as.
I think so, too, and I really believe there are a lot of comparisons and a lot of similarities between All In and WrestleMania 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we weren't talking attendance records during WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 1, the point was that wrestling could make the mainstream.
Yeah.
At that time. And Vince McMahon created WrestleMania as really an answer to NWA Starrcade, which started in 1983. And Starrcade was kind of the best of the territories, the independent scene. So in Starrcade 83, you had Flair versus Harley Race.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Steamboat was on the card. Roddy Piper was on the card. Cowboy Bob Orton was on the card. All these guys were also part of the first WrestleMania. And what Vince McMahon did, especially starting in that mid-'80s, this was his start of the talent raid of the territories, where he was taking the Hulk Hogans, Roddy Pipers, Greg Valentine, Junkyard Dog, Ricky Steamboat.
I don't agree with the phrase talent raid. It's just investing in your business.
Right.
Assets.
I
understand what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is, All In, it wasn't necessarily a talent raid, but the same concept can be said.
Yeah.
It wasn't one wrestling company. They were taking the best of New Japan, the best of Ring of Honor, the best of...
You had an amalgamation of all the top talent of the independent scene.
Right. So in that regard, they're very similar. The other thing too is, and I mentioned it earlier, there was a lot of celebrity involvement,
mm-hmm.
which WrestleMania 1 went overboard with Liberace, Billy Martin, Muhammad Ali, and all the different celebrities were All In. You have John Mayer, the Chicago Bears, and
Stephen Amell's wrestling.
Stephen Amell's wrestling. Mr. T wrestled at the main event of WrestleMania 1. So I think Cody and the Bucks, maybe not intentionally, but they pretty much made their version of WrestleMania without trying to be WrestleMania, because I know a lot of people don't want a WWE type product in the independent scene, but they kind of did that with the pyro and the big Titantron and stuff like that. So I believe time will tell, obviously, but this could plant the seed of things to come, and this could be how Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling start becoming the next WCW and compete with WWE. And you saw guys like Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix, who you could see on Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling is slowly becoming the ECW. If you watch, you got guys like Sami Callihan who are making every match like a hardcore match, and they're doing all their things. At Don Callis with his influence there. That's slowly becoming the ECW. So this was a great night in professional wrestling. It was highly successful. The matches were good. The storytelling was good. The builds to the matches were good. And I think the road past All In will be good.